When we bought Flying Coney, she had a usable interior. The plan was to live aboard and restore one compartment at a time. However, plans quickly changed when we hauled out the ship. There was a lot of welding to do, so we needed to rip out our galley, our cabins, our head, the insulation and a few frames, and buckets full of rust. The upside is that we now know exactly what needs to be done to get her back into perfect shape. And actually, we will tackle the important frame repair quite soon. But the downside is that we ripped out everything that made it possible to live aboard. Well, luckily this isn't entirely true, because there is one small compartment where we could leave the interior in place because it's completely above deck level, so there wasn't any welding to do. So we can alter the aft cabin to our new home until everything is fixed down in the hull. And then the process starts all over again, because we need to rip out everything in the aft cabin, because eventually we need to lower the aft cabin to make a proper sailing ship out of Flying Coney. So that's the reason why we can only live on 22 feet of our 82 feet ship. At least for now.
Hello, it's so good to see you again. I'm Barbara, and together with my husband Daniel, I restored a historic sailing ship, Flying Coney. The time has finally come to turn our project ship into our home. That means starting to add some interior to our aft cabin, starting with a bed, a task we actually began 3 years ago.
This bed construction has quite a history. Originally there was a proper bed in this cabin. But when the previous owner bought the boat, he ripped it all out to build a very improvised couch setup. When we took over the boat, the first thing we did was to tear that whole couch assembly back out, planning to build a bed again. But after seeing the wood prices at the local DIY store, we never actually got started. Since this will only be a temporary living space until we build the full interior, we want to keep costs low. So for the past 3 years, whenever we lived aboard Flying Coney, we just slept on a mattress on the floor. But that's finally changing now, because here in Leer we found a wood store with affordable construction timber. So we are finally building a bed. Today I have some tasks to do in the engine room, so let's start with the most annoying one, and that is emptying out the aft compartment of the bilge. On a steel boat it's better to have no water in at all, and our bilge is fairly dry, so underneath of the engine and in the forward compartments of the bilge there is no water in. But this boat also has a stuffing box, and the way how a stuffing box is cooled is by some drips of water that comes in. And we do have a separated bilge compartment for the stuffing box, so all the water from our last journey has collected there. And since it's still not good to have water in the boat, I will empty it out. We do have 2 shop vacs on this boat. One is for dusty jobs, and it's an N-class shop vac, so it's better for your lungs if you don't breathe in hazardous dusts. We do have a second shop vac on this boat, which we only use for sucking in water and bilge water. So that one I will use today. And it's a pretty cold day, so let's get started so it gets a little bit warmer. So emptying out the bilge compartment went fairly smooth, but even a small task like that takes up some time and it's quite some work. But now we do not have any water at all in the bilge or anywhere in the boat. So that's better for the steel, because it means the air is less humid, and that means less rust, which is always good. Our next big goal is to move back on the boat, because since we have removed almost the entire interior during our last shipyard time, we have lived in the camper and we prefer to live on our boat. And I always say use a boat or lose a boat, so it's quite important for us to build a temporary living solution here in the aft cabin so that we can move back on the boat. This entire section here is above deck level, so we can repair the hull while we live in this aft compartment here. So repairing the frames, repairing the stringers, which will take some time. So this will be our home for the next 1 year or the next 2 years. Let's have a look how long it takes us. And on the long run, we've planned to lower this whole aft deck down to about this height. There is enough room underneath this secret hatch here, and will give us enough room for a captain's cabin even after we lowered the aft deck. But that only can be done once we have a final living solution down in the hull with a nice galley, with a nice seating area, with a nice VIP cabin, with a nice bathroom. But until then, this will be our home. But enough about future plans and lowering decks and all that. So let's get started in building a temporary living solution, because that's already a huge improvement in our life. We have enough timber, we have hopefully enough tools to get the job done. But we need to get this job done because currently there's absolutely no space where we can place the mattress. So if we don't manage to get it done, we have no place to sleep. So let's get started. That bit was completely irrelevant. It's absolutely unnecessary. Don't know why they have screwed it in there. Also the number of different screws is quite significant. Storage space. Storage space is the problem. Not a big one. They even screwed in screws where there's no purpose for it. Where to put it? Here. So this bed construction here has quite some history. I think the couch arrangement here was built out of the previous bed that was here, and now we're building a bed out of the couch arrangement that was previously bed. So reusing all the material. But here you see on this side, this was the old design of this room here, and on the other side it's plain white. So here it's interesting to see the history of the parts. So here we have the old wooden deck of the boat, and it's quite interesting when I start to disassemble something to dig through the history of the boat. And wooden deck on fishing vessels was often done because it's less slippery than a steel deck. But it's quite heavy as well, and over time they're always a little bit leaky. Especially if you have a steel boat with a wooden deck, then a wooden deck is quite leaky. That's why it was covered with a steel deck and the forward part of the ship. So I want to take a moment to explain, now that the box is removed, I want to take a moment to explain you what this is. And it's the steering mechanism or the rudder mechanism of the boat. So we have hydraulic steering with two big rams. This here is the rudder shaft. This here is to attach an emergency tiller. For the emergency tiller we do have a valve here where we can disassemble the hydraulic mechanism. These are the hydraulic pipes, one line going in and one return line. And these electronic parts here are sensors to indicate where the rudder is, so that at the helm you know in which direction the rudder is pointing. Quite important. So it's actually quite important that we keep these parts in place here, and that's why it is a relatively robust structure here. But since we have removed this board, it's wiggling a little bit, so we have to find a solution that it is stable after we're done with the bed. Yeah, here distribution unit and hydraulic hoses and pipes. It's actually a very reliable steering system, and in the past year it was serviced by Derek. I've used the existing hose here, so I only have to measure once. Now I'm seeing the marks here. Easy to drill. Pre-drill the hose for the fastness.
Pretty much level.
Okay, a little bit up. Still level?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, a little bit down. Okay, now it's perfect.
Yeah.
So this would be ideal, then it's 41.5. I'm measuring the length of one of the two bedposts, and I'm doing it on all four sides so that I can have a better reference to cut straight down, because this is too strong for the jigsaw. So handsaw is currently our only option, and I'm measuring on each corner, and then I use my square here to make the line. Let's do it quick. 41.5, that's the height. Now I'm taking the square and I'm combining it. Maybe a little bit on the upper side. I actually love to work with hand tools. The smells, you don't need hearing protection, you don't need a respirator. It's just a simpler way, and it's really testing my skills and developing my skills. If I would have a miter saw, easy cut. So everyone can do that. But with a handsaw, it's way more difficult, and I'm still learning, but it's fun. I'm really satisfied with how that worked out. Completely straight cut. Nice. So we are done with the most difficult parts of this bed assembly, which are the corner posts. And it was quite difficult to get it in this shape just with hand tools, and it took quite a long time.
Deciding which side you want, in which direction. But none of those are ever seen again.
Yes. So we finished building the bed frame, and we had already a wonderful night in this bed. We just put the slated frames on top of this structure here, placed the mattress on top of it, and it's already plenty strong and stable.
And that's all we have time for today. It feels so good to finally have a proper place to sleep. We are not quite done with the bed yet. We still have to build a box around the rudder hydraulics. But that's a job for the next video. None of this, the restoration or the videos, would be possible without the generosity of our wonderful supporters. So a huge thanks to all of you. And if you would like to support us as well, then check out our Patreon. There we share real-time updates, behind-the-scene content, and even host regular Zoom meetings. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.